Good morning. It's 8 a.m. November 19th, 1920, and we're coming to you from across the airwaves. My name is Atticus Rood, and I'm here alongside
Lucas Engel
to bring you news of the day via the marvel of modern technology. This little experiment called radio broadcasting officially launched on November 2nd, and we continue bringing you news that's up to date from around the country and beyond. We'll start this morning with news of the recent election. Lucas?
As you know by now, we have officially put to rest election campaigns by phonograph after bringing you this year's election returns on air. KDKA broadcast the voting results as they were phoned into the newspapers, revealing the winner of the presidential election as Warren G. Harding. Harding has said that he will help the country return to normalcy following the trauma of the Great War. Official results show Harding received 60% of the popular vote in a landslide victory over James Cox. Another interesting element of the recent election was the addition of female voters for the first time in American history. We now know that 36% of eligible women cast their vote, compared to 68% of eligible men. At least partial credit for the disparity is given to the hindrance of literacy tests, residency requirements, and poll taxes for women.
Outside the political arena, the country continues to be plagued by the transmission of the H1N1 influenza A virus, more commonly known as the Spanish flu. Government sources reveal the number of those affected by the flu has climbed to 21.5 million, bringing what was once an epidemic to pandemic proportions. Tune in to KDKA to stay informed as more information becomes available. And now, a word from our newest sponsor, a restaurant that's breaking new ground with meals on the go, White Castle.
Are you tired after a long day at the refrigerator factory? Is your wife exhausted from boiling and starching the clothes and hanging them by the fire? You both need a break, but your family still needs to eat. We've got the answer. White Castle brings you 100% USDA beef patties cooked in a flash and sacked up for you at 5 cents per burger. Our square patties come with pickles and onions, but if you're feeling daring, you should try our new burger with cheese. Dinner will never be the same. Leave the assembly line behind and visit us at 9th and Main to become the king of your own castle.
We're back at KDKA, where we're bringing you the news in real time with a story from the world of sports.
Football fans have something to look forward to as games began this week in Triangle Park, Ohio, marking the opening day of the National Football League, or NFL. The Dayton Triangles beat the Columbus Panhandles with a score of 14-0 in the opening matchup. The league currently stands at 14 teams, hailing from Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, New York, and Michigan. The league president, Jim Thorpe, might be familiar to our listeners as a well-known player in the National Baseball League. That's right, Thorpe is no dewdropper, making the switch from baseball to football, and bringing both his athleticism and extensive knowledge of sports to the quickly growing Football League.
And now, time for our latest edition of the broadcast, a feature segment, where we introduce you to innovations that are the bee's knees, and the people bringing those innovations to life. Here's our latest installment of Headliners of the 20s. Today we have the privilege of hosting a true visionary in the automotive industry, none other than Mr. Henry Ford. Thank you for joining us on the show today.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Mr. Ford, your assembly line method has certainly transformed manufacturing. How did you come up with this innovative approach?
The assembly line was born out of a desire for efficiency. I realized that by breaking down the production of a car into smaller, specialized tasks, we could dramatically increase output while reducing costs.
Very interesting. The impact of your work is truly remarkable. How do you envision the future of the automotive industry?
The future is incredibly promising. We're exploring new technologies and methods to improve performance, reliability, and safety. My vision is to see automobiles become an integral part of everyday life, making transportation faster, safer, and more convenient for everyone.
And finally, what advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs and innovators?
To those listening, I would say, there's no disgrace in honest failure. There's only disgrace in fearing to fail.
Wise words. Thank you, Mr. Ford, for sharing your insights and vision with us today. That concludes our interview with the pioneering mind behind the automotive revolution, Henry Ford. Tune in every Friday for more Headliners of the 20s and interviews with people leading us into the future.
And now an update to one of the lead stories of the year. Following the adoption of the 18th Amendment, growing opposition to prohibition continues. The policy is under attack with claims of lowered local revenues and imposed rural Puritan religious values on urban America. Despite the legislation, instances of illegal bootlegged liquor and the existence of speakeasies are increasing. It remains to be seen whether or not the newest addition to our Constitution will continue to be supported by the people of the nation.
We're glad you've joined us for this Friday morning KDKA news broadcast. I'm Atticus Rood.
And I'm Lucas Engel. Stay tuned for more news at noon. Until then, enjoy the jazz stylings of Jelly Roll Morton.